Hey, thanks so much for catching this video, this bonus video on M&A hypergrowth strategies for your business. I'm Jeramiah Townsend with IBA United. We created the 5x5 business system to help you grow your business. And one of the best ways that you can grow your business, the fastest way to really give you hypergrowth, is to buy another company and bolt it on. You're literally buying time and systems that have already been developed and just bolting them onto your business. Now, before we get into that, there are two types of growth in a company. So one is linear growth, and linear growth is created through an improvement in your systems. An improvement in your systems will usually show a higher conversion rate, maybe better sales statistics, something along those lines. And you'll normally see smaller growth statistics anywhere from 1 or 2% upwards of 20, 30, 40%. And that would be a large amount of growth. The second type of growth is called scaling. And scaling means that you're taking something and you're duplicating it. So when you're doing that, this works great in two situations, really. On certain online companies, they can very easily scale up just by bringing on clients or the right target customers and maybe partnering with an ideal partner who has their specific client that they can bolt on. For example, if you created a sales software that helps your sales team perform better, maybe not a CRM, maybe a CRM, and all of a sudden you get a partnership with a large company that has a large sales force, them coming on board is a strategic partnership between the two, and you can quickly scale that company because you can just continually add more, and you just have to add on a couple of more servers or something like that. So that's why online companies are so valuable, is the scalability of them. You can easily grow by 100%, 500%, 1,000% on those companies, and that's where we're talking about scale. The other aspect of scale is usually you're dealing with a business that has all the systems in place, and they open up multiple locations, usually a franchise style or a chain style of business. Those can be scaled because you can easily double, triple, quadruple by opening up multiple locations. Yeah, there are a lot of steps in that process. So we're talking about growth, which is usually on a smaller level, but we're talking about hyper growth. How can you really grow your company really fast? And in this presentation right here today, I'm going to give you the core strategies that I use for hyper growth. And I'm going to give you a methodology I created called the stream acquisition method. Now, the stream acquisition method is actually really simple. You picture yourself standing in a stream, like in a river, right? Water comes from upstream, it comes and it hits you and it goes downstream. So you are only going to look at acquiring 3 companies. Now, this presumes you already own a company. You represent a company standing there right in the middle of the stream. And the stream acquisition method, you think about, where do your clients or your expenses come from before they get to you? So that's everything upstream. And then you think about midstream, which is when a client's working with you, do they work with anybody else, or is there a competitor or somebody else midstream? And then downstream would be, who do they go to after they come to you? So for example, if you were going to say you had a pool company, a pool installation company, who do they come to before you? It might be a landscaping company. It might be an excavator company. It might be something like that. It might even be a real estate company or something along those lines. They come there first, and then they come to you as the pool installation company, but they also might go to a pool manufacturer. So that's upstream. And then midstream, you might be the service provider. And then who are they going to go to downstream? An ongoing pool maintenance company. So you can see upstream, midstream, and downstream. We're going to take just a couple of minutes and look at those 3 target acquisitions for your business. So let's put on our thinking hats and let's get into this. Upstream companies. Upstream companies, they're usually tied to either your expenses or where your clients come from. So these are companies, they might include things like a marketing or advertising company. Think about that for a moment. You advertise, so why not acquire the companies you advertise with? This might be an industry association. Yes, acquire the association. You can even start it, but we're talking about acquiring. Acquire the association, acquire the industry magazines, acquire that podcast that speaks to your industry, acquire the software company that services into your industry, acquire your raw material supplier or your vendors. Acquire the transport companies that bring stuff to your door. The famous one who did that, Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby had a trucking company, they still do, in order to transport all of their supplies. Acquire strategic upstream partners. So for example, let's say you had a graphic design, you had a print company and you acquire a graphic design company because the graphic designers keep sending their business to you. So you acquire the strategic partner upstream that's sending you all your clients. Now, the secret is by doing this, you're creating these strategic partners, these value levers where you're building just one step away from where you are. So that's upstream. That's your upstream market, upstream from you. And remember, that's either tied to where your customers come from, or it's tied to your expenses on your profit and loss statement. Now, the second group of companies you might acquire are midstream acquisitions. So midstream acquisitions are going to be companies that people go and they think of instead of you, or an alternative, or while they're coming to work with you. So for example, again, if you were a pool installation company, somebody might also go and hire a landscaper to come and work to redo their entire backyard, but you just specifically specialize in pools, but they want a landscaper to really do everything. Or maybe a handyman construction company to build that gazebo out back, or to do that finished concrete work. So you're going to be thinking about your competitors, complementary products, alternative options. Everybody has an alternative. So for example, if you're a pool installer, you might think, well, nobody does alternatives to pools. Yes, they do. What about a swim spa? Swim spa is an alternative to a pool that somebody might select. And I'm sure there's more, but so alternatives, there's always an alternative. You might think of either a product or service provider. So if you provide products, think of service providers. If you provide a service, think of product providers. So these are other people alongside you that are doing the same sort of thing. You might also think of outsourcing companies. So if there's something you don't do, you might want to get that company that you outsource to and acquire that company. You also might think of companies that you have an affiliate marketing relationship with. Those affiliate marketing relationships, maybe you acquire your affiliates. And finally, you might even think about, might sound strange, a payment processing company. A payment processor is somebody that you're going to use when a customer comes to you. So you might want to look at acquiring a payment processing company or partner with somebody along those lines. Now, that leads us to downstream acquisitions. So a downstream acquisition would be companies you go to after a client goes to after they come and work with you. So this might be, if you're a product-based company, it might be an installation company, might be a service company, a maintenance company. It might be a complementary product or service. It might be aftermarket parts, aftermarket something or other. It might be a club or another association related. So if you are a hobby and craft store and you sell, RC cars, you might have the RC club car group, or the RC racers, or you might have an RC track or something like that, something that they go and they take this afterwards and use it there. You might think of training and education companies so that those companies can better use your products and services. This is the stream acquisition method: upstream, midstream, downstream. By doing this, you can quickly grow your business. You can lower your expenses and you can increase your income overall. It's a fantastic strategy for creating hyper growth in your business. And if you do this well and do this right, you can easily double or triple the profitability of your existing core business by only stepping one step away. So you don't want to go 2 or 3 or 4 steps away from your core business. You only want to go one step away. So if somebody is 2 or 3 or 4 steps upstream, you probably don't want to go that far. So if you're selling, if you have a toy store, you don't necessarily want to buy a company that manufactures the plastics or the materials for injection mold making companies that manufacture the toys for the wholesaler. You don't want to go that far up the chain because that's too far to really leverage and add value to you. But generally, one step away, one step upstream, one step midstream, one step downstream. This is the stream acquisition method, and it's the key to getting hyper growth in your business. I'm Jeramiah Townsend with IBA United. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you. I hope this video was helpful. As always, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I will see you in the next video.